I was watching one of your videos on meditations for the Aquarian age, and you
Yeah.
mentioned in that video that we just stuff our head with data, and that sometimes it's good to actually act on it. And there's so much information, and what you said about how would you give your consciousness to a new being, and what state would you want that in? It's exciting for me when you say that, because in Taoism, as you probably well know, the sages' science is to work in reverse and to get back to that state before mundane conditioning of that innocence of the child. And so it's almost like so many facts are necessary to kind of process your way out of this maze that we've entered, that we think, like you said, your purpose, right? You've entered this little maze and you finally stumble upon the center of it. And that's, I relate it to the Kung Fu Panda, where he gets the scroll and there's nothing on it.
Yes, that.
But that's kind of what it feels like in life sometimes. It's like you think there's this ultimate, you know what I mean? And you're eventually going to stumble on it. And then really, I think the work is to work your way out of that, back into that space of just being that innocent child. But for us, it takes that work, whereas it's like almost like an effortless effort, you know what I mean? Or that
Yeah.
balance between strength and stillness, or effort and relaxation.
Yes, it's like creating a child. Like, do you know who Sri Anganandama is?
Sounds
She's a
very familiar.
You probably do without realizing it. She's also known as the Bliss Mother.
Hmm.
So she's a she, obviously, but she lived her whole life. She was married, but she never consummated her marriage. Basically, from the time she could like she existed, she would just sit in what people would describe as a state of peace.
Hmm.
And as she began to talk, people would be like, why don't you do this, or why don't you do that? And she'd just look at them and say, I know what I came here for. And so as she got older, she continued in this state. When she got into like her early 20s, a much older man came across her and fell in love with her as his muse, basically. And she was like, well, I'm just going to sit here and do what I do because that's what I do. And he was like, bet. So by the time she had passed away, he had actually built her an empire, like a community of 20,000 people. He had brought them in to just be in her presence, and she would just sit with them. And that's what I